to issue 31 of my Warhammer Conquest review series, where we'll be reviewing issue 31. Ooh, that's as good as a special they get. It's one of the less cost-effective issues this week for the bits and pieces that come with it. It's worth remembering, whenever I point out the cost-effectiveness of an issue, that's purely based on the gubbins that you get with it. A magazine like this is usually worth £3 or £4 by itself. I know a lot of places would say they're about £5, but that's not £5 worth of magazine. Personally, I'd say about £2.50 for the magazine, maybe £3 for the magazine, if you were just buying the magazine and nothing else. But you always get more than the cost of the magazine in stuff. This week we've got Death Guard Green. We already had Death Guard Green, but if you're collecting and painting the Death Guard, you're probably in need of a refill by now. And a new colour, which is Celestia Grey, which is a nice firm grey base. So that's really quite good. The grey we had previously was a lighter grey, good for highlighting. Good for appearing near a near white colour. This one will appear much more like a grey on your model, so that's quite good as well. And we've also got a medium layer brush. Again, this is a solid wooden brush, unlike the cheaper or only the odd plastic brush that you got with the first issue. However, the odd plastic brush, the brush you got with issue 1 that had the plastic handle, still had good quality bristles in it, so there's no complaint. This is a medium layer brush. There's a few bits sticking out, there always is, but nope, that won't fall back in. I got it. It annoys me, sorry. But you've got a brush there, which goes to a nice tip. Don't leak your brushes like I just did. It's a terrible habit. These things are non-toxic, but who knows what that means. I wouldn't recommend drinking them. But yeah, you've got a good layer brush there. That's good for base coating and adding layers to your models, which you'll be looking at doing. But it also comes to a fine enough point you can do a certain amount of detail work with it. Yeah, we're talking £2.75 per paint. I looked the price of this one up. This is £4.45, so you're looking £9.95. You're looking just short of £10 for the gubbins that comes with it. So roughly a 20% saving. If anybody, yeah, if you went into a shop and you saw 20% off, you'd think it was a great deal. So yeah, fairly good deal again. Like I say, some of them have been much better deals, others not quite so much, but this one, lower end of a good, the lower end of the value for money, but still you're saving money on that. And if you are collecting the Death Guard, those are colours that are useful to you, and the paintbrushes are always useful. Right, as we can see from the front, we've got some cool stuff coming here. We've got Robute Gilliman, Origins, Plague Legions of Nurgle again, and Painting with Celestia Grey. For those of you wondering why there are all kind of weird names to GW's paints, a little bit of a back history. GW has changed its paint supplier several times, as many companies do, just to stay competitive in that. And often when they change the paint company they leave keeps making the paints. Some of the older original paints are still actually out there and available for things like Liverpool Paints and I forget what the other company was, Manchester Miniatures. There were some weird name companies. I'm trying to remember where they were from. I know it was set up somewhere weird, but my poster just fell down. I'm going to pause while I put it back up. I'm back. That's the high quality of production in this video. Could be worse. Not sure how, but it could be. Yeah, but yeah, basically copyright. Particularly for people who still like the old colours were still available, and it also meant that GW could get similar colours, but they couldn't always take the colours they had with them, and they couldn't stop other people making their paints for their Marines. or their Imperial Guard. Your Ultramarine Blue is a standard paint name and is available from a lot of paint vendors. As were a lot of the, as were a lot of the other paints. Originally, they started getting their own colours, but found that if they didn't copyright the names and copyright the paint shades, but rather use paint shades available, people wouldn't necessarily buy their paint shades. And particularly when it comes to painting an army, one thing you want to do is match your paint shades. So if GW are the only guys that sell Death Guard green, then you have to buy Death Guard green. If you started painting your army Death Guard green, you want to continue painting your Death Guard green so it all looks the same, you need to buy from GW. Now that's fair enough. They want you to buy their paints. But also it has meant that when they've moved paint vendors, sometimes they couldn't bring their old paints with them, which that is a problem. If you want to use the same paints and all of a sudden GW don't sell the paint that you use, then you're going to be miffed. You walk into GW tomorrow having painted your entire army Death Guard green, and all of a sudden they haven't got Death Guard green. That's a problem. So that's why you have all these little weird names. It's so that people can't sell the colours that GW specifically formulated for them, and it's so that GW can keep selling the colours that they've sold you previously for their miniatures. One is fair enough, if a company formulates colours, gets things and gets stuff so it looks awesome on their models, they should be the guys that keep making money from it. If they start selling colours and saying this is the colour of my models, then they're going to want to keep making money from it. And the other is, if they've sold you a bunch of colours for your models, but all of a sudden they can't continue with whatever reason for that paint vendor, they want to be able to keep selling you the same colours so that you don't end up with an army that doesn't look good and mismatches and annoys the crap out of you. And that's a good thing. But anyway, back to the actual Conquest magazine. I just go on these random asides. My apologies. Got a lot of interesting stuff coming in this one. There we go. Oh, The Avenging Sun. Standard front page, signed by Ian, our spiritual liege. It's got a background of McCragg. No, I don't think this is his yet. I think this is his original armour. No, there's a Primaris in the background. It's got to be his new armour. There's Rabute in his armour with his sword, not the Emperor's sword. So that's looking pretty cool. It's telling you what happened when Rabute, and I've been advised that is how you pronounce his name, Rabute. For years it was Robert. GW on some of their recordings have pronounced it Rabute, and therefore it's Rabute now. Booty! But yeah, it tells you about Gilliman, it tells you about him arriving on his home world, what he did, how he grew up, and so on and so forth. How he became a powerful leader. Oh, you cheesy fucks. Some of you may be familiar with an actor, Mark Strong. That doesn't look at all like Mark Strong. Only it does. It totally looks like Mark Strong if he had a slightly broader chin, broader jaw. If you're not familiar with who Mark Strong is, he was Sinestro in the Green Lantern. He was a bad guy in several of the Sharp episodes. For 40k, he was the voice of the Marine of the titular Marine character, Captain Titus, I think it was, in the Space Marine video game. So apparently, Rabute is supposed to look like Mark Strong. That is fucking amazing. I love that. That is brilliant. That's just brilliant. Sorry. He's been tied to GW for quite a few projects and bits and pieces over the years, not least of which some of their video game work, so fantastic. But yeah, more stuff there about Gilliman. Here we've got the Brotherhood of War, which is some more timeline stuff for the Ultramarines, and again, here's some more stuff there as well. So that's really cool. And another chapter description about another chapter. Here we've got Dark Angels, Heretics, who are a completely loyal chapter. Heretics, and have never ever had their loyalty cast into a doubt. Heretics at all. If you play Dark Angels, good on you. Heretics. They're great. The Primarch, it tells you the Primarch is, it tells you where their homeworld was and that it was destroyed. Heresy. And it tells you about things like their major engagements and stuff like that. It's got some more about the background to the Dark Angels, their fleets and their bits and pieces. So that's, and some history. So that's pretty cool, particularly if you're a Dark Angel player. Then we've got Plague Legions of Nurgle. Some more about Nurgle, some more about his demons and the Death Guard. Here it runs through the Septicus Legion with various leaders. And as you can see, some fantastically beautiful artwork. Utterly pussy and grotesque. It's a greater demon there. And that looks amazing. Well, that looks amazing, as you can see. Then we move on to Celestia Grey and how to paint with it. Sorry, a little bit twitchy. It's got you painting the smoke there, so that's looking really good. You've got the smoke coming out there, sensors coming out in grey. And as always, it's advising you use multiple thin coats to get a smooth finish. Actually, yeah. You've got it used in other things as well. They're using it in some of the lights for that. I imagine you're going to use a white to build that up, or a lighter colour. But for now, you can see the lights in there on the Rhino as well are being done in Celestial Grey, which looks cool. And some other bits, like they're basing the bone spurs and some other bits in Celestial Grey, which again is going to look cool. And then after that, they're covering in Agrax Earthshade to give it some depth, which again, that Agrax Earthshade is literally skin on a bowl, so that's going to look cool. Got some pictures of what your Terminator should look like. And even more stuff there. Just going over all your models with Celestia Grey, lots of pages of Celestia Grey in this one, and telling you all the things you can do to improve and bring your models up to looking just that little bit neater, that little bit better. Then we've got the Ultramarines Advance, a little bit of story there just to preface the mission. Oh, as always, some fantastic artwork. I like the artwork. It kind of inspires me to keep playing, keep painting. It's stuff like that that keeps me going when I can't always find games. More story-based there. A lot of story-based prior to this mission. Rules Mission 5. And then, think about, where's the actual blooming mission? Northern State of Brackets on the Marine Control. Right. Honestly, yep, loads of story based just to get you inspired for the mission, and then Seize the City is the mission itself, which is really nice and really cool. As always. Lots of stuff, no new rules. Then again, you haven't got any new models, so we don't tend to get any new rules or new stuff until we get new models, and that's pretty cool. Right, next week is going to be one that I'm particularly looking forward to, because this is the first time that I've got a model here that I didn't already have some of. I started off with the Dark Imperium box set, so a lot of this is replications for me, but it's replications that I needed to get the size of the units to get big things up and running, so it all works out. But the Apothecary is a completely new model for me, and that's not one I have one of. It's worth noting the Librarian was also a model that I shouldn't have had one of, but I went and bought it like 2 weeks before I realised it was coming out, which was just before Conquest first started coming out. So I actually had a Librarian. On the plus side, I actually made a nice little conversion with lightning bolts coming from his hand and everything, so I was happy with it. But yeah, I've got an Apothecary here, which I'm looking forward to getting, and I'm looking forward to painting up. It's going to be a vague conversion with me, because I do a slightly, I do a Space Wolf-ish kind of one, so it's a decision as whether or not I do it as a Wolf Priest or something like that, because Space Wolves don't have Apothecaries. The chapter I actually painted is Shadow Wolves, and they're a purple chapter. They look really cool. They're a variant on Space Wolves, and I'd done a big Space Wolf army previously with the last chapter, so I fancied a colour change. But still a massive Facebook fan, so I couldn't drop it entirely. And the issue after that, we've got terrain. We've got some more awesome terrain, some fantastic pipes. It does mean that there's gonna be at least 2 more issues when there's no prizes going out. So that is that, but it's still cool. So we're gonna I'm gonna be looking forward thoroughly to that. I'm just gonna pause the video while I go and grab something. Hi guys. A couple of weeks ago I tried to give away this rhino. Did the randomised dice roll as I do, came up with Spect ! Which are another channel actually by the looks of it. Cool guys, their stuff seems good. They haven't responded or give me an address to send it to. So I'm going to re-roll it and send it to somebody else because I have no use for it and it's been a couple of weeks. Sorry guys if you only just seen this. I did put it on the last video and I did put a comment under your comment which you should have got. C'est la vie. Okay, what have I got? Massive fucking dice. Number 6 is where am I? 1, 2, 3, back. Stop it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 5 comments. I have to re-roll. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I don't know the rest. 4. Gavin Ban. Gavin, if you're watching this, you've actually won the tank on the reroll. My email address is wargamerdaduk@gmail.com. I'll also ping you in the messages. So, if you send me an address, I will send this off to you. It's a whole free rhino. I'm noticing from your comment you've already got a whole free rhino, but you can't have too many rhinos. So, well played. Well, I say well played. Congratulations. That's the one I want to say. Congratulations. It should be hopefully on its way to you within a reasonably short amount of time, provided I have money. I never have money. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next week for a look at the Spaceman Apothecary. Bye-bye. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Not sure why, but I am. So if you like it, see me there, and please tell your friends. Thanks very much. Bye.